Good day and greetings from the Great White North. My name is Prickly Boo and welcome to day 326 of a year of change. Almost forgot what day it was. Awesome start to everything. I don't have a lot to contribute today. I record this usually the night before I actually release it. There are times when I go, okay, well, I want to say, well, today I did this and yesterday I did that. The timeline is a little skewed that way, but I know I'm going to screw up things, so I'm just going to say, here's what happened today. A couple of weird things happened today, and so this is really just going to be sort of a vent session, but there is a point. At the end of it, there will be a point. Just all day, throughout the entire day, yesterday at this point, from the time I woke up to the time I got back, it's just been one annoyance after the other. Nothing really major. These are very, very first world types of problems. To start things off, I slacked off a bit on my treadmill. I did my walk for 10, run for 10, walk for 10, run for 10, walk for 10, run for 5. And then walked the last 5. I got to a point where I was just like, I'm really just not getting into it. Okay, it's only 5 minutes. It should be okay. Things will be fine. Stepped outside to go to work and forgot that we had another snowstorm. So I made up my 5 minutes by shoveling everything out all over again. I just did the same little path, and then I thought I've got to dig my car out. So I get down to my car, and someone has parked so close to me that there was about less than a foot of room between my door and their door. So I'm thinking, okay, do I just key their car? I have never been closer to keying someone's car as I have been at that moment. So I thought, do I just smash out the windows, or do I just say, no, it's fine, I'll just go through, just do what I need to do. So anyway, I had to crawl in through the passenger seat, which is something I never would have been able to do a year ago. There's no way I would be able to get into a passenger seat and climb over and into the driver's seat the way I did. It would be a whole production a year ago. So that was kind of neat. That's the first thing I thought of when I was doing that. I was like, I wouldn't be able to do this a few months ago. There's no way. Still uncomfortable because I have an emergency brake that needs to stay on until the car starts. So that was interesting. But got in there, pulled out a little bit, got my car all cleaned off, and really was tempted to just, anyway. So then just, again, one thing after the other, all the way to work. While I'm at work, just a whole bunch of really, to a point where you just stop getting angry about it, and you just have to, this is the worst day I've had in a very long time. But something different happened that normally, now we've had moments before when, when I was bored and I didn't immediately go to food. A lot of us are emotional eaters. I think we can all admit to that. But I think for me, the vast majority of it was either partially boredom anyway, but the big part of it was, I don't want to really say depressed because it's not really depression, but it's a good enough term. Those days when you hate yourself and you feel depressed and you feel down and that's when I would normally eat. But there's also that, pretty much any emotional trigger would be, you know what, I want to go home and do nothing and sit and eat and watch TV and just eat and eat and eat. And that didn't occur to me today, which was really, really nice. And it's, again, another, you don't notice the sound is gone until you don't notice the sound is there until it's gone. Whatever I mean, you know what I mean. That it didn't really dawn on me until a few hours later when I thought, normally would that be something I would go and just use that as an excuse to eat. And it's nice that, subconsciously it's not even coming at me anymore. Admittedly, I will say this. During the day, this wasn't really related to anything that was going on. Pretty much all the bad stuff was done. And someone had just mentioned, they didn't know what they were getting. And for a brief moment, I went, what would be really good is I have not had pizza in a very, very long time. I don't know if they mentioned it or if I was just thinking about it. But then immediately I just went, no, I'm a nerd. I'm old and gross now. I can't have pizza because then I just feel like shit afterwards. Because the last time that I've had it, I just kind of went, it just kind of felt weird. So I know I'll eventually be able to have it. It's just right now, it's just like, I don't want a chance feeling that way, and I don't know what it is, if it's just a huge influx of sodium, or if it's, just a combination of absolutely everything that's on it. Or possibly them still overeating it, which is probably what it is. But anytime that I've had it, I just kind of I just don't feel, kind of feel gross. So that went out as soon as it went in. The thought, not the pizza. Although that might happen as well if you have the wrong stuff on it. So anyway, it was something a little bit different because, I mean, being frustrated and angry, I mean, I understand that I normally would go to food for everything. I mean, it wasn't a conscious decision to say, this will help me feel better. It's just that's what I went to whenever I was, angry or upset or usually just sad. But the anger part of it, or frustration or annoyance, whatever you want to call it, I don't remember if that was a trigger. I'm sure it was, because if boredom is, then chances are, yeah, any really heightened emotional state is going to be sort of that thing that kicks you off. And there have been times when, not that it's really any annoyance or sad or anything else that is it hasn't triggered it in a very long time. I'm trying to complete a sentence and it's not working. But consciously, there have been times, and we talked about this before as well, where I thought, I just want a couple of days where I can just sit back and I sort of reminisce about, overeating, which is weird. And you think, I just want to have a day where I could just eat nachos and ribs and, 10 bags of chips and everything that I want. But it's not the same as, I used to sit at work and think, okay, when I go home, I'm going to have this. And as you're eating, you're planning out your next meal to a point where that's all that your life is made up of. It's not the same. And as soon as I get, usually by this time I get to the second dish, I'm like, that's too much. And I probably would feel sick. And I don't really want to do that anymore. I mean, I kind of do. There are moments when you go, you know what? I still would like some. But then you think, no, I'm making progress. It's okay. And I think that sort of changes things as well. There's a big difference between looking at ourselves and going, I don't like what I see, and I'm fat and I'm gross, and I just feel shitty about myself all over the place. And then looking at yourself and going, yeah, I'm it's fat and gross and shitty all over the place, but it's getting better. And I know it's getting better. Just even having that little, this is going to sound really hokey, but having that little bit of hope, that light at the end of the tunnel, if I can even go for a better cliche, it does make a difference in whether or not you want to start eating or overeating, whatever you want to call it. And I don't think it's a real risk. Usually I start, today was a prime example. When I sit there, I go, pizza would be really good. No, I kind of feel like shit afterwards. All right, figure something else out. It's really that quick. And having that realization that, whether or not I actually went to it in the past, which I probably did, having so that, the food isn't your first thought when you get stressed out or, angry or sad or lonely or happy or bored or whatever it is. The fact that we don't have that, some of us may, but the fact that isn't our first thought, that we're like, okay, well, I need a vat of icing, where that's not our go-to anymore. I'm not to a stage where I'm thinking, I just want to go and work out. No way. I'm not anywhere near that. And there are people that are like that. They're like, I just need to run it out. Like, why? That's horrible. It's like, why would you want to? So I'm not anywhere near that. I'm not to that stage where that's my first thought is, I should jump on my treadmill and go. No, I just want to get away from these people. It's usually just to avoid the situation. But being able to say, I think I just spit on myself. It's okay. Being able to look at the situation and say, my first thought isn't food. Whether it's sugar or salt or whatever it is, it's not like that's not my go-to anymore, which is really, really nice. And it's really what we've been striving for so long, is to get, not necessarily to get, ripped bodies and to be eating super, super healthy foods all the time, 24 hours a day. Well, you know what I mean. 24 hours a day, you're going to wake up in the middle of the night and have a carrot. But that wasn't our goal. And I think when, this week when we sort of stepped back a little bit and said, okay, we need to readjust things and realize we aren't looking to become a personal trainer at the end of this. It's really just to sort of change everything. So really sort of reevaluate everything, I think has helped a little bit in that respect. Whether or not it's actually doing anything, in my head it has. It may not actually have helped, but in my head I think it has. That when I look at something like this and think, okay, you know what, that's not my first instinct anymore, is to go and grab a bag of chips or, a bag of, I was going to say chocolate, but I never was a real chocolate fan. Butterscotch things, candy of any sort, gummies, there we go. That's not my first, of course, now in my head I'm going, oh, I haven't had gummies in a while either. It's like, yeah, but they make me kind of afterwards as well. But not having that instinct to immediately go for some sort of candy or snack or, entire meal, because let's face it, our snacks are usually, what people would consider 2 or 3 meals. Not having that as my first knee-jerk reaction is a very, very good thing. And being able to recognize that shows me that what we've been doing for the past 10 or 11 months, we're almost at the end, what we've been doing for the past 11 months is working. Not that it's worked, because we still have those moments. We still have days when we go over on our calories. We still have days where we really just want to eat everything that's out there, and it really takes a lot of control to do it. But the fact that we can exercise that control, where we actually have that, where it's not a matter of going, oh, I just couldn't help myself anymore. We can do it. We've done it in the past. We've continued to do it, when we have those rough days. And even better when you get to a point when you think, that wasn't the first thing I thought of. Even if it's the second or third, it's still better. It's still bad, obviously, but it's still better than, just having that, okay, I'm upset. For some reason, I need to eat something. And I know it's not a conscious decision like that, but that is really what the thought process is, that, we just start eating because we've associated that with just making us feel better all the time. Short term, obviously. The instant gratification of that outweighs any of the ramifications that come, from overeating and, whether it's being sick or having other people make fun of us or having that paranoia or just feeling shitty all over the place. All that stuff. Just being able to say, okay, well, I feel better now. But where we've spent so much time trying to get away from that, and we've sort of readjusted our focus and said, you know what, this is not what I want anymore. The fact that we've been able to do that, and it's gotten to a point where it is working. I don't think we're cured. I don't think it's ever going to get to, Mike, hello? They're knocking on, it's not knocking on my door. They can go to hell. Anyway, busy talking. I don't think it's ever going to get to a point where we just never have cravings and we never think, oh, you know what, I just want ice cream to make me feel better. Ice cream always makes people feel better. It's a fact of life. Even if you don't like ice cream, it makes you feel better. Even if you don't eat it, you're just like, I have an ice cream, I'm okay now. So I don't think we're ever going to get away from that. But I think it's good that we can look at it and say, you know what? I will do something else. I can either control it or, think of it second or third in line of things that will make you feel better. I don't know if I'm ever going to get to a point where exercising is going to be my go-to. I find stuff like that. I'm sure there are people that legitimately feel that way, but I see that the same sort of people that, just that, I don't know, that fake personality. It goes, oh, you just need to run. That'll make you feel awesome. I'm like, well, no, you say it does, but you're still sore, and I can't imagine anyone going, oh, this is the greatest feeling in the world. This is what I always do to feel better. It's just that fake, just bullshit you want to slap them in the face for. For those of you that are out there that do enjoy that, spitting on myself again, that you do think, oh, well, no, that's what I always go to now when I'm upset or something. Please, what the hell is your secret? Because it's, I enjoy my time while I'm on the treadmill because I just feel better afterwards. While I'm doing it, it's horrible because you're running and nothing's chasing you. You're not being attacked by anything. So your body just doesn't understand why you're doing it, which is usually why I watch TV while I'm doing it, so that I can sort of stay distracted that way. But I always feel better afterwards. But it wouldn't be, right now anyway, it wouldn't be anything that I would just say, okay, well, that's what I need to do to make myself feel better. No, it's usually I just want to stay home and not talk to anybody and sit and grumble and piss and moan by myself. But having the realization, anyway, getting back on topic, having that realization that food isn't the automatic crutch that it used to be, it's a good feeling. It really is. Because although I know I'm still going to have ups and downs and good days and bad days and everything else, I think I'm out of the woods with that portion of it. That that's not going to be my go-to every single time. I don't have to fight with it every single time. That when I'm upset or if I'm, bored or sad or whatever it is, that I don't have to now struggle with that and say, okay, I don't want to eat this. I'm not going to eat this. I don't want to have to, constantly be aware that that's there. And it has been for a while. That, when we feel something like that it's, okay, well, normally this is when I would eat. I don't want to do that now. And just to be able to get to a point where, even if you think about it, this is hours afterwards, all this stuff has happened, and then it dawns on you, and you think, okay, well, I didn't really do that. That's a good sign. It means that we're changing, that this is working. and that our attitudes towards food and how we approach it and everything else is changing. And it's taken us a long time to get here, and it's going to be even longer before we're completely free of it. And even really on the like when you look at it, I don't think we're ever going to be completely free, because we talked about this as well. We're hardwired to enjoy fatty, sugary, salty, fancy foods. It's human beings are like that. But we'll be able to get to a point where that's not our comfort anymore. Where our comfort is, pretty much anything else at this point. Heroin, there you go. Substitute heroin for it. That'll be good. Plus you lose weight. But whatever it is that we find that is going to sort of be our new go-to, the fact that it's not food, I don't give a shit what it is, that makes me happy. That makes me think, you know what, this is working. And it gives you a little bit more of a boost so that you can sort of keep going. And when you have those moments when you think, you know what, I want a day off, or I don't want to do an exercise today, or I'm going to skip this, or I'm going to skip that. Having a moment like that, think, you know what, no, I want to stay on track. I want to keep going. And my nose is still itchy. But those are the little things that just sort of keep you motivated. We haven't really talked a whole lot about, staying motivated and keeping things fresh and everything else, because you can read all the affirmations that you want. You can see all the videos that you can get your hands on. You can read all the books. You can see all the success stories. But if you don't honestly believe it and feel it yourself, then it's just that, that fake excitement that companies get you to do. And the first thing in the morning, and you go, let's all do a company cheer. You're like, no, it's fake fun. It's not real. There's no, But that's how I look at it is, once you get those moments and you feel those and you think, that's what's going to keep me going. It's something like this that just sort of reinforces what we've been doing and says, you know what, you've been doing something right. Even if everything else we've been doing is wrong, if our diet is off, if the exercise isn't where it needs to be, the fact that we have gotten to a point where, we're better than we were, even at this point, subconsciously, which is so much better, then that shows that at least one thing that we've done from the very beginning, something has gone right. And that is what's going to keep me going, and hopefully keep you going as well past this year, and, just sort of keep us on track. And again, I'm going to say motivated, but really sort of keep us motivated. Shit, can't think of another word for it. Motivated. I'm just going to use that one. It's a shitty word, and it's a buzzword, and I don't like it. But really, when it's sincere, I think it's okay. As long as it's something that you honestly are looking at and not just getting yourself all worked up for and that fake excitement, just so that you can keep going for another week. This is something that, it's just sort of that positive reinforcement, letting you know, okay, what you're doing, you keep doing it, you're going to be successful. So anyway, that was it. A little bit of a bitch session, a little bit of a yay. That kind of makes you feel good. It's like talking things out, because then stuff comes up, and although I've used the same word over and over and over again, hopefully I've contributed something to the conversation. But for right now, I'm going to leave this video here. So thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please poke the like button for me. And in the meantime, keep yourself warm and fuzzy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.